Hey guys, welcome to another episode of IQ Central Dialogue. Unfortunately, my coworker Dawda is not here today. All good. But in his place, we always have Mustafa in the background helping me get this sorted and get this out to you guys. But I'm really excited to start today's conversation because we have a superstar on our hands today. We like to call her FJ in our little group, but Fatoumata Jallow, sadly representing Guinea, should be Gambia, but it's all good. And she's going to be walking us through, just some experiences of playing in international tournaments. Right now, FJ is kicking off AfroBasket. So, FJ, why don't you quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, you gave me a great introduction already. But hi, my name is FJ, or my real name is obviously is Fatoumata Jallow, but they call me FJ. Like you said, I play for the Guinea national team. I'm currently at the AfroBasket preparation in Guinea. So this is a perfect time to talk about all this that we're gonna talk about right now. So yeah, I'm excited.
Perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited to have you on because one of the goals that we had was connecting, Gambian diaspora in all different areas, specifically in
Yeah.
Africa, so we can see like the growth of the game and really, really show the next generation that it's really possible. So thanks for
Hmm.
your time today, Jay.
Thank you.
We'll
Thank
get
you.
right into it. We'll get right into it. One of the questions I wanted to ask you, what's your basketball journey?
Wow. To keep it short, I was summarizing the word not a turbulence, I would say, but it's been very up and down, everything from college or to playing like back home in Sweden, then going to college, coming back and then playing pro and now with the national team. It's been very interesting and I've learned a lot, I would say, of course. But it hasn't just been like, all fun and everything. It's also been a lot of tough times, a lot of practices, late hours, missing family time and all that stuff that, pros do and basketball in general do. So it's been very tough, but I wouldn't change it for anything though. So I'm really grateful to be able to do all of this, like as a job.
Hmm. Like it's
Yeah.
a game that's really taking you across the world. But I'm curious. I wanna just peel it back a little bit more. So you mentioned how many things you had to give up and all of these things, but how did your
Yeah.
love for the game actually start? How did that start? Where you grew up back in Sweden, and just walk us through that process.
Yeah. So I started when I was 6 years old. It started just, by me just joining my siblings, my two sisters. Um, and then I was the one that continued playing. Like they were just doing it for fun, just to, be in a sport while they're in school. But for me, it was more so I wanted to continue. And then I was doing track at the same time when I was little. Not like competing wise, just practicing. But it came to a point and an age where I had to choose because then I chose basketball. And from there on, I've always been in love with the game. So it's not like I'm coming from a big, like, basketball family, like where my family members know all about basketball and stuff like that. Which is why I also love it so much because it's something that I can keep like for myself, kind of like my thing. But yeah, that's how it all started. It started with my siblings joining, like going to practices, and I joined them, and then they quit. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna continue because it was just for fun and giggles for them. But for me, I'm like, you know what? I can actually do this. And then from there on, we just built on it. And then now I'm here. So it's
I was about
amazing.
to say, look where it took you. I was literally about to
Yeah,
say that.
exactly. You see, it started with just going to practice following your siblings, like your sisters, and then look at me now. I'm in Guinea playing like my third Afro basket. It's
You're
amazing.
literally the inspiration now. The
Thank
inspiration that
you.
they gave you, that's you today. So,
Yeah,
it's
thank you.
really nice to see people fall into the sport like that. And I'm glad you mentioned that. So, one
Mm.
question I like to ask a lot of the people we interview, but I'm going to ask you right now,
Yeah.
is when did you know you were nice? Like, when was that moment you were playing and you're like, yo, I'm better than everybody? Like, when did that moment happen for you?
You're the first person that asked me this question. It's not something I really think about.
Yeah, but there is a click. There's definitely a click, like where you just know, hey, I'm more advanced than some guys.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
maybe I
You
can,
know what?
like,
When I think I don't know if I have like an exact moment, but I think around the time when I was in the Sweden, this was before. I don't know if it was before or after going to the US because I was home for like 1 year after my first JUCO. I came back home just for 1 year, but this was no, this was in Sweden. I kind of felt like I could do so much, but I was kind of not overlooked. That's the word, right?
uh,
Overlooked. Yeah, like
yep.
people didn't notice me like that. But I was like, I know I got the moves. I can play. But I think it really clicked like right before going to the US. Um, pretty late though. I kind of clicked. It kind of clicked pretty late, but I kind of knew it deep inside. But I think that's where I was like, you know what? It all makes sense. So a little bit, yeah, going before going to college, during high school. So it's pretty late. And then when I was in college, I'm like, you know what? Yep, I know that's right. Like, yep.
So
So I kind
that's
of,
what's
I
up.
think it kind of clicked a little bit later, but I kind of deep down always knew that I had it in me. But like I said, maybe like during high school, pretty late.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad you mentioned that because my basketball journey is a bit different. With me, I only realized I was good at basketball like grade 12. And then
Mm.
maybe that like first year of university, I got humbled again because you have to work your way back up. So it
Yeah.
took me some time. So it's nice to hear that kind of took you there. And then I guess, how did you get involved with the Guinean national team?
Well, I was the one that contacted them first. This was because my first AfroBasket was 2021. So I contacted them. I just had like one of those days where I was like, I want to go back home. Like I want to go to the motherland. So that's where,
Yeah,
that was when I think I've talked to you guys about this. Not if not you, but to Mustafa and them. Like I contacted Guinea first because, I'm half Gambian as well, but they didn't have it. So I went to Guinea. So I just messaged them and I'm like, hey, because they don't know about me because I'm not listed as a Guinean. I'm like, hey,
yeah,
I'm this and this and this. I play here and here. I'm Guinean, parents from this and that. Send the email to the federation, boom. And then they contacted me back. And that's how we got in contact. And the ball just kept on rolling from there on.
I see.
Yeah.
And I forgot to ask this earlier because you mentioned JUCO. Could you quickly touch on your college career? Did you go JUCO and just stay JUCO all 4 years? Did you go up and down levels? What was that like?
I went to two different JUCOs. I went to JUCO for 2 years. So
Okay.
first year I was there and then I came back home.
Mm,
And then I stayed for a season in Sweden, and then I went back again because I had to continue. There was a rule, you had to continue your JUCO years.
finish your school, whatever. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 2 years before you can actually go commit to a D1. Then I
Yeah.
went to a second JUCO, finished there, got my, the degree
Yeah,
there or
whatever
whatever.
association.
Yeah. And then from there, I went to a D1, which is called Brown University in Rhode Island. And I was there for 2 years, and that was
I
it.
actually know that school. One of my sister's high school friends is from Rhode Island. So when we had to go down, we had to go to Providence
Yeah,
and we got to
Providence.
watch them. And then, yeah, but that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Damn. What was that
Yes,
like?
that's, yeah.
What was that like? Coming up
JUCO
at
was
D1 level,
unbelievable.
going from JUCO, Sweden to D1.
JUCO. I don't know. Like I knew college. Coach Carter. That was
Yeah,
all I
come on.
would think about.
Yeah.
Coach Carter summarizes everything for me. If
Yeah.
someone's like, "How was your college experience?" Not all the
Okay.
like when it comes to the practicing and all that stuff. I would just give them like the reference of Coach Carter, and that's it. It was tough.
That's
It really toughened me up, though. You had to mentally and physically strong to be able to go through things in college, especially in JUCO, because it's not really that many rules, such as or in D1 when you have limited hours to practice, etc., etc. In JUCO, they can kind of, do their own rules over
do their
there.
own thing. Yeah. I like
So
that
it
you
was
made that point. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. No, so that yeah, it was tough, but yeah. So now I'm like, you know what? If I can manage JUCO with no family, you have school, people don't really understand. They don't really take that in consideration that you're international, you're leaving your
Yeah.
whole world and
Yeah.
coming into US is a whole different it's a whole different
Boy.
vibe over there. So you're coming into a new place and it's kind of tough. So now that I'm happy I did it though, because it made me who I am today and how I can, I'm more, I'm disciplined. If someone says a time, I'm there. Because if not, I remember my coach would be like to the baseline. If you're late, just two
Seconds
minutes.
late. Baseline.
If they say
Baseline.
5 p.m., you're late if you come 10 minutes to that time. So it's stuff like that. But it's
That's
all
tough.
good. Yeah, it taught me
And
good
I'm glad you
lessons.
said that. I'm really glad you said that because one of the questions we wanted to ask was
Hmm.
for players making their international competition or international debut, sorry, what should
Hmm.
they mentally prepare for? And just before you go, for those that don't know what Coach Carter is, Coach Carter is like the most transformable basketball movie that you could ever watch in your entire life. Long story
Yeah.
short, it shows a bunch of inner city kids trying to make it to the collegiate level. They had a really tough coach, and he showed them the importance of hard work, dedication, etc., etc. Check it out. But
Yeah.
this is what I want to ask you because you mentioned JUCO and Coach Carter. So I just think you have a huge mental strength that you're able to look over things. So for players, like you were in 2021, what should they be mentally preparing for when they're trying to start off their international pursuits and international basketball careers?
Wow. It's so much. I'm gonna try to like keep it short, not sure like that, but
Now, not talk long. We want long
yeah,
story
no,
long. We
yeah.
want long story long.
One thing I would really recommend is don't have any high expectations. Don't have any like pre expectations of what things are gonna be when you go to a new country, like a new continent, for example. If you're in Europe, you're coming into Africa, things are different here versus how Africa is different, or Europe is compared to people coming from Africa or going there, and North America, etc. So be open minded. Be very open minded about everything, and know that you're gonna learn new things no matter what. Whether you like it or not, you're gonna learn things. And to make sure that you always have that mental toughness. When I say mental toughness, it's very easy. It's easier said than done. But try to find that ground, to something that will grind yourself. Whether it's family, whether it's, I don't know. Some people like to play video games to stay grounded. Like something, find something that keeps you sane, because you will get tested
See, and
mentally, physically. Mm?
what do you do? What do you do to overcome those moments? Maybe some people can take, like, do you journal? Do you
For,
go on walks? Like,
yeah,
what's your
for me, honestly, it's prayers. Prayers
love?
is my number one go-to. It's obviously it's my prayers, and then family. Those two. And alone time. So three, I guess. Um, being a basketball athlete in general, especially in the international stage and everything, you're surrounded by people all the time. Practice, you come home, you're at the hotel, you all the time. So you need to find that, even if it's just a few hours or a minute, whatever, just find that time just for yourself and just calm down, because you're gonna need it. So that's just something that works for me, anyways. Being alone sometimes, or having family, talking to them on the phone if they're not with me, and then you have the prayers that are always there, the daily prayers. So those are the three things that have been working for me, anyways.
I'm
Yeah,
glad you said that too, because we know a lot of the people that interact with this podcast and
yeah,
platform, Muslim Gambians, right?
yeah,
That's the culture that we come from. So to hear someone really dedicate a lot of their success to the time that they pray, the time that
yeah,
they spend with family, all of us can relate to that. If you're from Gambia and you're somewhere else in the world, 80% of your family is not around you. So
yeah,
that connection on the phone, like I can even speak for me when I was in high school and college here in Canada, or when I went to play over in the DR. Like, I remember one of my first games, I had a terrible game. And I'm sitting
yeah,
there, everybody speaks a different language, and I'm just
exactly.
there. I can't even go to my teammates, hey, bro, like, 'cause he speaks Spanish. Like, you got to
It's
sit
tough.
there, pray, ground yourself with your family. So I'm really glad you touched on that. But just to shift the conversation a bit,
Yeah,
um, I know you're playing for Guinea now, but the question here is, what does it? You can answer this for Guinea too, but what does it mean for Gambia slash Guinea as countries to have teams competing at this level? What does that mean for the growth of not just basketball, but female basketball? In Africa, in Guinea, in Gambia. What does it mean to see people like yourself actually doing this stuff for the next generation?
yeah. So personally, for me, I would say it means a lot. Um, I would say that basketball sports here in Africa, or now I speak about Guinea, for example, is very big. It's very, people are passionate about it. People are very passionate about it. So to see if young kids or young and adults see people represent their country, in a way maybe they can't, but they see other people do it. It just brings people together. And it's very important to have someone to look up to, whether it's the men's or the women's, especially for the women's basketball here in Guinea. Um, Guinea is not considered, one of those like power countries with like the amazing like basketball. Like for example, if you compare with Senegal or like Mali, countries like that in Africa, they're very known for having, they
Basketball.
have good young athletes, like they start young, they have like the academies and stuff. It's not really as much here. So seeing that we have a team playing in AfroBasket at the end of the day, it's an amazing thing. And something for people to look up to and see, what, we have a team playing, we have the women's team playing. Look at, they have like maybe some kids, they're like, this can be you one day. So seeing someone is seeing us coming here and play. I know it means a lot because I see a lot of comments on Facebook, Instagram. I see people message me like, congratulations, we're happy for you, we're watching you, this and that. Someone even messaged me what to do, like you should do this, you should do that. People are invested, so it's
I
very
love to
nice.
see that. Yeah, and I think one
Yeah,
thing about you too that I really like is that you're warm, and I think that comes from your background from just being African, being taught
yeah.
that you have to go to
Thank
other
you.
countries, you have to assimilate, you have to be open. Going back to your open-mindedness thing, I feel like when you come, I can't speak for Europe as much, but North America, a lot of the basketball politics get involved.
Yeah.
People are kind of like standoffish or whatever. So one of the things I really appreciate about you as a person is that you have your platform open for anyone. As you said, you email the
Hmm.
federation, but you have other people just DMing you trying to learn and pick these things up. So I think
Yeah.
we need more people doing those types of things and more players giving back. A couple more questions left before we get out of here. One thing for you directly, if there's something you could tell FJ at 6 years old about the person and basketball player she would be in 2025, what would you say?
Say it one more time. It was breaking a little bit for me. Sorry.
If you could tell FJ at 6 years old about the person and basketball player FJ would be, the current version of you today, what would you say?
Mm, wow. What would I say to myself at 6 years old? You know what? I would just say, what would I say? Like, even me, I'm surprised at how far I came,
What
honestly, to be
surprises you?
honest.
What surprises you about that though? Because when I hear you talk, you went to
Because,
the gym, you put the effort in.
yeah, yeah, I put on the effort, everything, but it's just like, it's not surprised like that. Like, I couldn't do it. It's just like, surprised because I'm surrounded by people where I was, born and raised in the country, like people that had like, basketball families, they had like the
Yes.
moms and the dads had, like, they were like former pro athletes. They would take
Mhm.
them to practice, this and that. Like I didn't have that. However, I always had the support to make it. So I would just be like to myself, like, keep grinding and just keep believing in yourself. Cause look at where that's going to take you, which is kind of what I did though, just by having support from family members. Really, it's the support that helped me get to where I am today, with together with my work, of course. um so yeah, yeah, now I kind of get went off topic, but yeah.
No, 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 that's fine. Can you elaborate a bit more on that?
On the Yeah, so the thing is, like, yeah, at least for me, being surrounded by people that have, everything when it comes to, like, they have parents telling them what to do all the time, they have them going into the gym, getting reps, all that stuff. For me, I did that all alone, basically. Like I did all that stuff with, of course, with practice. You have teams and stuff, but all the extra work is something that I had with like with my discipline. Like, okay, I cannot do this and this and that, but I'll go to the other gym like far away when I'm little and go do what I need to do and come back. I will try to go to the gym early if I can, just stuff like that. Um, and it's all just discipline and just trying to work hard with not having, if you have like parents, like I said, they know, because it's easier for them, it would be easier for them to go to like national team camps because they have contacts, connections, and stuff like that. It's like the small things that builds up, and that's what makes people, like, that makes me feel like, okay, I was overlooked a little bit, you know but at the end of the day, I still had the work ethic. I'm still working hard, and yeah, that was helping me.
Rohi, can
Hello.
you go on mute, please?
Yeah, really.
Go ahead, Ajay.
Yeah, no, but so yeah, so that's it for me anyway. Yeah, that's yeah.
Then I still have a couple more just to get out, and
Yep.
I'm glad that I was able to join.
Hmm.
My next question to you is, what do you think is the biggest difference between playing in Africa and playing in?
The physicality.
Oh, really?
Straight.
From European side or African side?
The physicality here in Africa, like the African basketball here, is different to the physicality where in Europe for me.
Ah,
And here, there, I feel like I wouldn't, not soft. But here is more intense. It's more athleticism. It's more intensity. It's more, there's no, because in college and like college, obviously that's North America then, but college, or if you're in Europe, there's a lot, two touches. If you touch two, three times,
Yeah,
that can be a foul, for example.
yeah.
Here, for example, in AfroBasket or for the BL for the men's, you can be bumping somebody like bump, bump, bump. That's not even, yeah, you already know. Like, that's not even a foul. So seeing all that. So when I came my first time for AfroBasket 2021, I was getting blocked left and right because I'm so used to getting the calls when I'm going in.
Calls.
I'm so used to, not that I'm going in softly when I'm playing back home or in the US or whatever, but it's just different. Here,
Uh-huh.
you can get blocked and it will touch your head like this, and it will still not be
No
a
call.
foul because you didn't take the contact properly. Stuff like that.
Yeah,
So it really taught me. So now I'm like, you know what? It taught me like I need to be more focused on the fundamentals when I play her. I cannot be just going, like 1-on-1, do whatever, this and that. Because here you need to be very focused on how you play. You need to be very disciplined and mindful. Jump stop. If you don't jump stop a pump fake, someone's gonna block that thing.
fuck
Like it's gonna
that.
go to the bleachers. It
Yeah,
happened so it happened so many times before. I was like, Fato, I think you need to pump fake. Like I need to pump fake. So it's stuff like that. I
yeah.
think that's the main thing.
Um, so just to shift the conversation off the basketball court for a
Yep.
second, what kind of off-court opportunities do you think are important for players to pursue?
Of course. You know what?
African players specifically. This is a question geared towards growing the game back home in Africa. What kind of off-court opportunities do you think are important for players to pursue?
Just to be sure, like when you say off court opportunity, you mean like anything that's
Anything.
just not related to basketball, you mean?
No, I mean,
Or
related to basketball, but not related to playing basketball. So I'll give an example here. For example, all of us
yes.
on this call right now, this is an off the court opportunity that we think is
Yeah.
important to grow because all of us are connected to basketball in some form, and we're trying to, give visibility. That type of
Yeah.
question. So, like, yeah, what
Okay.
do you think are some projects like that essentially for players to pursue, to help with.
Yeah. Well, to start with, like you just mentioned, like things like this. If anything, if players can find, like podcasts, or not only podcasts, but, people talking to other athletes, trying to bring it together, like we are doing. That's a good way to, for one, get exposure, two, to learn a lot,
Mhm.
and three, to get connected. Like that's, you can get all in one just by having conversations with people, like we're doing. Um, and honestly, try to involve yourself with basketball people, meaning, for example, me, outside of basketball, now I'm taking me for example, but I work as a personal trainer, right? I know in Gambia there's a lot of coaches. There's a
Mhm.
lot of coaches. Maybe you can join them, be like, yo, I want to learn how to coach. I want to do this and that. Can I join you for a practice? Can I learn from you? Because I don't think any coach should be like, no, you cannot learn from me, or you cannot sit on the sideline and look at how I'm coaching a team. Like, if anyone does that, then it's like, you know what, you're not for me. I'm gonna go ask someone else.
I see.
But yeah, so maybe if you don't want to be if you want to be a coach in the future, go to a coach, one of the U16 coaches or something for the youths or something like that, and look at how they're doing, or join camps if you can. Just stuff like that, I think is a good idea.
See.
Um, yeah, I think that's something, a good start at least.
I
It
like
will
what you
connect you
said.
to.
I like what you said about value because you kind of said you have to share value in the sense where you said, like, look, outside of basketball, you're a personal trainer. So you have
Mhm.
value as a personal trainer. When you go to work with a coach or something, hey, I want to learn from you and I can provide, personal training or whatever. So now it's a mutually beneficial relationship. So I like how you touched
Yeah.
on that. And then I mean, I had this question here, but me and you have already talked about it. The question was, what's your favorite basketball movie or documentary? But we know it's Coach Carter, so we'll move on.
Yep.
If
Yeah.
you, this is the final question, just a fun one. If you could have any basketball superpower, what would it be?
If I had a basketball superpower,
You could shoot. You're tall as Wembanyama. You could shoot like Steph. You could dunk like LeBron. You could be as bad as Ben Simmons. Doesn't matter what it is. Like, what is your basketball superpower? If you could have one.
if I could have a basketball superpower, that would be, you know, just having obviously I know I can be a playmaker. I am a playmaker. I can do everything, but just having the vision like right away, just anything from assists, you
Mhm.
know, whether it's yeah, I would just say being like how do you call it? What's it called? Just having everything in front of you, like just before anyone else sees it, just everything
Oh,
just
I see.
like boom, boom.
Yeah,
Yeah, just everything.
I
Like
see.
I'm like 10 steps ahead of everybody type of
I'm
thing, you
dead.
know.
Okay,
That's what
okay.
I'm
I thought you were
people are
gonna
like,
say.
"Oh,
I thought you were gonna say dunking. I thought you were gonna say dunking like LeBron. I'd be
man,
come
dunk. I
down
mean,
the
dunk would
lane,
be fun.
just try to dunk it on someone. So I mean, yeah, no, that was good. That was good. I think in this conversation, all jokes aside, you gave a lot of insights. You gave a lot of advice. You gave a lot of business beyond the court. And you shared some personal and memorable moments. So, I'd like to give the last word to you, FJ. If there's any final thoughts or any reminders that you'd like to leave, in this dialogue before we move forward, the floor is yours.
Yeah, first I'll say thank you for this time, honestly, because I know that I'm at the AfroBasket and this is helping me also reflect on things that I don't really think about. Like you're asking me questions that I haven't even thought about in a long time or I have never thought about.
Mhm.
So just makes me realize, what, coming into this tournament, like I've come a long way, It's I'm
Huge way.
I was dreaming about, and I'm actually in the moment. So I'm actually, it's good to get that a reminder sometimes, which is what you just did, and we're doing all the time when we're talking. So that's something I really appreciate. I'm very thankful for. And yeah, this is just giving me another boost, another more energy to have in for the AfroBasket. So that's what I'm happy for, and I appreciate it really. Yeah.
Okay, let's give her her snaps. Give her her snaps. Thank you, FJ. Clock it. Clock it. Thank you, FJ.